The Creative Curve: How to Develop the Right Idea at the Right Time. This is the author, Allen Gannett. Preface. We've all been told a lie about the nature of creativity. For as long as anyone can remember, our culture has perpetuated the myth that creative success is a result of a sudden light bulb moment. That writing best-selling novels, creating revered paintings, or developing viral mobile apps has a mystical quality, unconnected to rational thought or logic, that is, reserved for geniuses, rather than for the rest of us mere mortals. In fact, for centuries now, we have been persuaded of this by wise men and critics who excitedly recount stories of creative genius that emphasize the individual, the subconscious, and the seemingly divine machinations behind creative achievement. My goal in writing The Creative Curve is to reveal the truth about creative success, that there is, in fact, a science behind what becomes a hit, and that today's neuroscience gives us an unprecedented ability to decode and engineer the necessary moments of inspiration to create popular work that your audience can't get enough of. I have always been addicted to patterns. As a kid, this took the form of spending countless hours playing computer games, watching and waiting to see how the AI worked so I could destroy my virtual opponent and save the kingdom, or planet, or country. I think you get the idea. As a teenager, this turned into a short-lived and fairly successful obsession with getting cast on game shows. Today, this lifelong geekery has found two homes. By day, I run a company that works with large brands to help them uncover the meaning, that is to say, the patterns, within their marketing data. We help Fortune 500s and high-growth startups understand the marketing channels, messages, and tactics that will work the best in the future based on the data from their past. By night, I've done everything possible to answer the question of whether there is a pattern to creative success. I've spent the last 2 years interviewing some of the world's most successful creators, from culinary titans to best-selling novelists and even top YouTube creators. I sat down, ate, chatted, and Skyped with some of the leading so-called creative geniuses of our time. In addition, I spoke to the most distinguished academics in the studies of creativity, genius, and neuroscience. What did I find? It turns out that the mythology around creativity is just that, myth. You do not have to be born with some X-Men-like superpower to achieve great artistic or entrepreneurial heights. In fact, there is a pattern that successful creative people leverage to make hits, one that's accessible to almost anyone. It's intuitive, but it's also learnable. And it has nothing to do with mysticism. You don't need to take LSD to get inspired or pray for a moment of overwhelming insight. Based on what I found, it turns out you can intentionally follow what the world's most vaunted creative geniuses do and get that much closer to creating and executing your own great ideas. Let's get started. Part 1. Overturning the Mythology of Creativity. Chapter 1. The Making of a Dream. It was November 1963. Paul McCartney woke up obsessed with a melody he had heard while dreaming. The 21-year-old pop star stumbled over to the small piano nestled in his room on the top floor of 57 Wimpole Street in central London. What was that melody? He sat at the piano, trying to recreate the notes he had heard in his sleep. It felt so familiar. He finally put it together. G, F sharp minor 7th, B, E minor, and E. He played it again and again. He loved the way it sounded, but was certain the melody must come from some half-forgotten song he had heard before. Like many musicians, he fretted that he might be borrowing the melody of another song. Too familiar, he thought. Where have I heard this before? The melody McCartney heard in his dream would ultimately become Yesterday,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?